Good evening everyone, and welcome to this free live demo on basic modeling in Revit architecture. It is best to watch this demo on a laptop, PC or Mac. This live demo is brought to you by Technics Training Hub, the leading technical school to offer CAD, BIM, and 3D rendering here in Mindanao. Autodesk Revit is the industry standard software used by architects, engineers, builders, contractors, and enthusiasts like you to create BIM or building information modeling. BIM is an intelligent process that gives the insights and tools to more efficiently plan, design, construct, and manage buildings and infrastructures as described by Autodesk. I am Engineer Kevin Sampson, and I'll be showing you how easy it is to use Autodesk Revit, especially to those who would like to learn and have second thoughts of shifting from CAD to BIM. I myself is an AutoCAD user since 2005, and when I started to learn and understand how Revit works and how fast I can generate plans and elevations in using one model, I got so excited and I immediately learned the software as fast as I can to help speed up my working drawings and 3D presentations. Before we start, you can adjust the video quality of your player by changing it to 480p manually for an optimal viewing, or if your internet is fast enough, then you can use 720p for a more crisp display. If you have any questions or clarifications during this demo, just leave a comment on our live chats and I'll try my best to respond to them after I post this demo on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's get on to it. So here we can see the interface of Autodesk Revit. The first thing you'll see when you open up Autodesk Revit is the recent file screen. So this is that part. Now there are two panes that you can see here, the left pane and the right pane. The left pane is as easy as you can see it, the buttons under the models and the families where you can open or create new files. Over to the right are the thumbnails for both models and families. So you can see a preview of these different files which have been previously opened in Autodesk Revit. So let's get on by clicking on this demo file here. So I'll just click on that. Okay, so once that opens, we can see now the Revit interface. So the interface here, on the top you will see here a quick access toolbar. So the icons here, which you can easily access when you need them. Then right below that is the ribbon menu. So these are the main commands which we'll be using when we will be doing some modeling or drawing here in Revit. Over to the left, we have this properties palette, this one here. So the properties palette holds the different characteristics when a command is executed. Okay, and then right below that, we have the project browser. So project browser is basically the different views that we can generate when we want to see the different views or the sides of a building model. Right below that, we have the status bar. So to compare that with CAD, you have the command line in AutoCAD. In Revit, we have the status bar. So when you execute a command, you will see now the steps that you will do when you execute a command. Then over to the upper right of that status bar, we have the view control bar. So for every view that we have here, let's say this white space, which we call the workspace in AutoCAD, which I also call it here in Revit, these are the different view tabs. So for every view that you can see here, for example, in this level 1 that we can see as a label, this view control bar here will show you, or we have a control of how we can see the detailing of the different views. Okay, then over to the right we have the selection toggle, so this one over here. Then up here we have this navigation bar. Okay, so before we start some drawing, let me show you the finished product that we'll be modeling tonight. So if I click on this 3D tab here, so this is an example of what we'll be doing tonight, a very simple minimalist house. So we can orbit around this. So to orbit around in Revit, all we need to do is hold down the shift on the keyboard, and you can click and hold the middle mouse button and drag your mouse around. So that is going to start orbiting around. So when you say orbiting, you are not rotating actually the model. Imagine there's a drone flying around here in Revit, and then once you do an orbit, it's as if you're going around this house. Okay, so another way of navigating around in Revit is the panning. So when you just click and hold down the middle mouse button and then move your mouse, you can pan up, down, left, or right around the model. Again, when you hold down the shift plus the middle mouse, that is orbiting. But if you only click and hold the middle mouse, that is panning. If you zoom in on your middle mouse, or the scroll mouse rather, you can zoom into your drawing. If you scroll outwards, then you can zoom out. So these are the very simple commands that you can use when you want to navigate around here in Revit. So again, if I orbit around this house, you can see that this is sort of a complete house that we drew, and we are going to draw also. So this is the back side, is on the right side, and then the front part of the house. Okay, so let's go back to that level here on the view tab. So we click on this level 1. So the first thing I'm going to draw are the columns. So basically the columns are the structural foundations of a building. So let's zoom in a bit. So to execute the command of columns here in Revit, we just go here to the ribbon menu, and then under the build panel we have this column command. So there's a drop down or a pull down menu here. You just click on that, and we'll be drawing a column architectural for this example. So let's just click to execute that column command. And then if you notice on the properties bar, it has changed, telling us that we are now on the column command, and it is showing us that a 300 by 300 millimeter column is gonna be drawn. Okay, so also if you notice on the mouse cursor, if I zoom in further, you will see that this column is now sticking on that mouse cursor, ready to be drawn. But before I draw that, let me check first this bar here called options bar. So this options bar only appears whenever you execute a command. Okay, so if you, for example, escape, if I hit escape on my keyboard to get out of the column command, that options bar disappears. Once I execute back on this column architectural command, that options bar reappears, plus it now goes directly to the modify menu here, telling us, or showing us rather, the different commands holding under the modify. Okay, so on the options bar, I want to make sure that the level that it will be sticking to will be on the level 3. Okay, so meaning from the base point of the ground level up to the level 3, that will be the height of this column. Okay, now in order for us to understand better how to draw that building that I showed you earlier, let us go and open this sample floor plan that we have here. So this is what we're gonna be following. So if you notice here, we have the different columns already placed on this floor plan. So we have some columns here, here, right in the middle, and on the corners of the building. Okay, so let's go back to Revit. So still on the column command, let me zoom out a bit by scrolling my mouse outward, and then let me click. So my style here is first I rough in all the models. Okay, unlike in AutoCAD, when you draw, you first draw all the lines that you need, then you trim them, you cut them down so that you can do the shapes. But here in Revit, since each of these components, like for example the column, which belongs to a family, here in Revit, you can immediately draw them. So again, we are on a top view on the ground level. So let me position first. So I click anywhere on my white space to first place a column. So once you click, you will see that the mouse turns to blue. If I move my mouse away, that column where I clicked on stays. And I can now add some more columns. So again, if we check back on our floor plan here, we have at least 1, 2, 3 on the middle, then 4 columns right here on the top. So I need to have 3 more columns. So notice also that when I move my mouse near the horizontal axis of this column, it automatically detects and aligns my cursor on that existing column already. So I'll just click there and add 1, and then 2, and then 3. So again, I said I'm gonna rough in all the columns, so no dimensioning yet. Okay, so let me hit escape a couple of times to get out of the column command, and then going back to our floor plan here, we will see that we need some more columns right on the lower area. Okay, so all we need to do is just copy these existing columns. Okay, so let's go back to Revit. So to copy the columns that I made, we first select them. So to select in Revit, we will draw a window selection. So to do that, you just click and drag your left mouse button from an empty area. So I'll click and then I will not release my left mouse, and then move my mouse away, and that will start drawing a window selection. Now notice as I hover and encapsulate all these columns, it turns to blue, telling us that we have successfully selected these columns. So to finally select them, I'll just release my mouse and it will turn to blue, telling us that these 4 columns has been selected. So let us now copy them. So to execute a copy command, it's now here on the ribbon menu. So under the Modify tab, we have this copy command here. If you notice, there is a tooltip that pops up, and the copy has a shortcut called CO. Okay, so I can either type CO on my keyboard to execute the copy command, or I can just immediately click this. For now, let's just click this copy command here. So once I click that, I will now look at the status bar to see what it tells us to do next. So here it says click to enter move start point. So what that basically means is we need the base point on where to start off the copying of this column. So actually you can click anywhere. So again, I'm roughing in the columns, so I'm not so strict right now with the dimensioning or the distance between one column, or rather the upper columns from the lower columns that we'll be copying. So let me copy that. So I'll click anywhere on the screen, and then once I click that, I will now move my mouse downwards. So notice that there's a dimension, or rather a temporary dimension, that follows my mouse cursor, and it tells me the distance. Okay, as I move my mouse downward, the distance increases, telling me that from this hidden guide that has appeared, it has distance itself 1700 millimeters from the origin. So this is actually the origin spot. Also, it gives me an angle. Now since I want to copy it straight down, so I'll make sure that the position of my mouse also is going on a 90 degree, as you can see on the guide there. Okay, so let me just place there. Again, I'll not be strict with the distance first for this roughing in of columns. So let me click to finally place the copied columns there. Okay, next let's draw the walls. So to end the command of the columns, I just click on an empty space here on the workspace, or on the white space on the view tab. So back here on the ribbon menu, on the build panel again, the first command we have is the wall beside the modify. Okay, so if I hover over the wall, it tells me that the shortcut is WA, as you can see there. Okay, so let's try to do a executing of the wall doing a keyboard shortcut. Now the good thing here in Revit is, unlike in AutoCAD, when you execute a command, you still need to press the space bar. Here in Revit, they have already fixed it that when you just type in the 2 letters corresponding to the command, it will immediately execute the command. Again, the shortcut is WA. So let me type WA on my keyboard, and that should execute the wall command. So I know that I'm on the wall command because the ribbon menu changed, and also the properties palette has also changed, telling me that I have a type property here called basic wall. Now going back to our floor plan guide, I will be drawing first the exterior walls, this one. Now the thickness of these walls versus of to that of the interior is 150 millimeters. Okay, so going back to Revit, the type property selected here is generic 100 mm. I want the generic 150 mm. So to change that, I just click here, and that will bring out a pull-down menu, and let me select this generic 150 millimeters. So let me click on that, and that will now tell me that I have already selected the 150 millimeter thick wall. So let me zoom in. So again, to zoom in, you scroll down on, or rather scroll up on your middle mouse, and then going back to the options, I'll also make sure that the height level where it will connect to will be the level 3, the same with the columns. So let me select that, and the location line, let me choose finish face exterior. So what that means is if I click here to start off the wall on this second column and then move my mouse, it flashes the exterior side of the exterior face side of the wall on the outer side of the column. So let me click here on this corner here. Now the good thing about the wall command here in Revit is that once you draw the wall and it overlaps around the columns, that portion cleans up already. Unlike in AutoCAD, then when you draw the lines first, you still need to trim all the lines that are inside. Okay, so that's the beauty here in Revit. So let's escape to end the command of the wall. I need to escape twice to do that. So going back to our floor plan, the distance of this wall from this wall is, as you can see on this dimension here, is 12,075, and the distance of the upper part to the lower part is 6,500 millimeters. So going back to Revit, we can easily adjust the distance. So here we'll start to get strict on the walls. Okay, so we click on this wall, and then once you do that, a temporary dimension appears. Okay, so the beauty about this temporary dimension is we can select that and then type the distance that we need. So we just click there and then we type 12075, right? Because that's the distance that I showed you earlier on our guide. So once I hit on enter, that should now space out the wall 12,075, and you can see on the temporary dimension that that is already executed there. Okay, next we need to place this wall 6,500 millimeters from this wall here. So let me select that, and then you can see that it says 3,250. So let me click on that temporary dimension, and I'll type 6,500 and press enter, and that already distanced itself 6,500 millimeters. So I'll zoom out so you can properly see the wall. So there it is. So let me pan a bit to center it. Next, we need to properly place the columns to their respective positions. Okay, so first let's move these two walls to move to the corners. Again, let's do a window selection by doing crossing like that, and then release the mouse, and then this time we will execute the move command. So the shortcut for the move command is MV. So let me just click on to execute that. So next, just like the copy, if you go to the status bar, it says there to click to enter move start point. So again, the base point. So I would like that this point of this column will be positioned on this point over here. So I will have the base point here, so I'll click here and then move my mouse to position it there. Okay, then next, all of this wall, so let me window select, or rather columns, let me window select that. I will now move them to flash onto this lower wall here. So again, we execute the move command. I'll snap on the base point here and then snap it on the end point there. So that will position those columns correctly. And finally, this two columns will be positioned on the center of this wall. So we first do a window selection to select both of them, execute the move command. This time I'll type MV on my keyboard, and then I will snap onto the midpoint of this column. So let me zoom in a bit so you can properly see. So click on that, and then move my mouse until it shows you a triangle telling us that that is the midpoint. So when you see a triangle point, or snap rather, that means that it's on the midpoint. So let me click on to place that column. Next, we need to move these two columns here. So we check on our guide. The distance from the center of the wall to the center of this column is 2925, also on the upper part. So going back to Revit, let us select this column here. So the dimension, or rather the temporary dimension, tells us that it's 1991.3. So we'll just click there and type 2925, hit enter, and that should distance itself 2925. Same goes here on the lower column. So I type 2925, then press enter. And now we are sure that these columns as well as the walls are properly spaced out with respect to the guide that we have here. So next, let's draw all the interior walls. First, let's draw the vertical walls. So first I'll draw this wall, then I'll copy that onto the next one with the correct dimensions. So this wall here, with respect to this wall, is 3000 millimeters in distance. And then here for this powder room, this wall is 1500. This one here, which is the bathroom, is 1700. And then the one here that is labeled walk-in closet is 2300. Okay, so let's go back to Revit. Let's execute back the wall command. So let's click here. And then again, since we are going to do interior walls, let us execute, or rather choose a type property of the generic 100 millimeters. So click down here, select generic 100 mm, and then I'll just first zoom in a bit so we can properly see this interior wall that we'll make, and then I'll snap on any point on the center of this wall here. So let me click that, and then I'll move my mouse downward and then click anywhere there, and then let me hit escape a couple of times to get out of the wall command. So again, this interior wall with respect to this wall should be 3000 millimeters spaced out. So we select this, and then you can see that what we drew is 2350. So let me click on that temporary dimension and type 3000 there, hit enter, and now I am assured that this wall is 3000 millimeters away from this wall here. Next, let us copy for the next wall. Again, going back to our guide, that is 1500 millimeters, and the next one is 1700, and then 2300. So back to Revit. This time I will execute an offset command. So to execute an offset command, the shortcut is OF, or we can go back to the modify tab here on the ribbon menu, and then this one here is the offset command. So we click there, or we type OF on the keyboard, and then going to the options bar, you will see that the default value is 1000 millimeters. We need 1500. Okay, so let me just change this first 0 here to 5 so that it will offset 1500, and then just hover your mouse over near the interior wall, and notice that a hidden line is predicting that it is going to be drawn onto the right side of this interior wall. Now be careful, because if I place my mouse over to the left, that hidden line guide transfers to the left side. Okay, so what we need is the one here to the right. So make sure that your mouse is on the right side. So you just click, and that will copy that. Next, we need 1700. So let's just change this 5 to 7. And then click on this right side of the wall to place that. And then finally, we change this 17 to 23 because we need 2300 to finally place that here. Okay, now going back to our guide, we need to draw now the horizontal interior walls, and we have 2, or rather 3. We have this one, and this one. So first, let us draw the middle part. So we go back to Revit. Now I am still on the offset command. You know that you're on the offset command because on the mouse cursor you can see the icon of the offset command following your mouse cursor. So let me do an offset of this upper wall here, and then click, and then that will be copied there. Okay, let me hit escape to get out of the offset command. And then if you notice, what we copied as an offset is the wall here, which has a thickness of 1000 or rather 150 millimeters. If I select that to verify it on the type properties, you will see that it's generic 150. This is gonna be an interior wall, so no need to problem. We just click here on the generic or rather the type properties and then select generic 100 mm, and that will instantly change from 150 to 100. And going back to our guide here, the distance with respect to this wall, this middle wall here, is 3350. So going back to Revit, let me pan a bit. You will see that the temporary dimension, we can change that. Just click there and then type 3350 and then press enter. Okay. Next, let's draw the other two walls first. So we execute WA on our keyboard. We make sure that the type properties is generic 100 mm. So we need one wall here and then one wall here. So first, let's click anywhere. So we click here and then I'll cross it onto the two walls, making it straight, and then click. And then I'll hit escape once so that I don't get out of the wall command. And then I'll continue drawing on this lower part here. So I'll just click anywhere and then move my mouse to the right and then click, and then this time I'll finally hit escape a couple of times to get out of the wall command. So going back to our guide, for the powder room, we need this wall here, so on this corner here. Okay, now the distance also of this horizontal wall of the powder room is 2000 millimeters with respect to this upper wall here. So going back to Revit, first we need to clean this out here. To easily do that, we can use the trim command. So the trim command is this one. So the shortcut is TR. So let me just click that. And then to use the trim command, we need to actually select only the part of the walls that we want to retain. Okay, so this one here and this one here. So that will clean that out instantly. So as you can see already, here in Revit, it's really very quick to do those cleanups. Okay, then also, since going back to our guide, we need to have this wall until here and then this one here, right? So using the same trim command, we can just select this wall here and then this wall here. And you can also already see that there's a hidden line that will tell us on what will happen when you do that type of selecting during the trim command execution. So and if I select this wall here and then this wall here, that should clean that like that. Also at the same time, it extends to close the walls to the corners. Okay, now going back to our floor plan guide, we need this wall to only extend until this point, aligned to the face of this wall of the powder room. And let's see, also that one here, we need to clean that part here because the horizontal wall extends out a bit. So going back to Revit, we cannot do a clean out using the trim command, but instead we'll use the one beside it called trim extend single element. So just click to execute that. There's no shortcut for it. If you go to the status bar to check what it says, what to do first, it says select a reference as the trim extend boundary. So meaning we need this part of the wall of the powder room, the vertical one, to be the boundary. So we will select that first. And then if you go back to the status bar again, it says there to select a line or wall to trim the part that you want to keep. Okay, it says there click on the part you want to keep. So we want to click the part, this one here on the inner one, because if we click on this part, you will see that the hidden line guide tells us that that part will be the one that retains or remains, but we don't want one. We want this one here. So we'll just click there and that will extend the wall inward. Same goes here if we want this to be removed. So let's zoom in a bit. Let's select the middle part of this wall to be the boundary, and then we select this part here so that it will clean out like that. So if we zoom out and hit escape to end the command, let's span a bit to center the drawing, we have now successfully finished the interior walls. Okay, so that's very quick, right? So next, let us now draw the doors that we need. So let's go back to our guide here. So we have a couple of doors that we will need. So we have some sliding doors over to this area here, also here. Then we have some 600mm doors for the powder room as well as the bathroom here. Then we have some 800mm for the door for this room here as well as the back door. Then we have a pocket door over here and a wall opening. So a wall opening is not a door, but it's just a pass-through, and I'll show you how to easily draw that. So let's now go back to Revit. So the door command is again located on the architecture ribbon menu, and right beside the wall command is the door. The shortcut is DR. So we just click to execute that, and then the first thing we'll draw are the sliding doors for these two walls here. So on the type properties, let's click to pull it down, and then let's select this M door double sliding. So let's select this dimension here, and once you move your mouse over to the workspace, you will see first that there is this do not enter symbol, right? So it means that you cannot just accidentally place the door anywhere on your workspace, because a door is a hosted family. When you say hosted, it needs to stick to a wall, for instance. So if I move my mouse over to the wall, you will see that it will give you a grayed out drawing of that door. Okay, so first let me draw the one on this side here. So let me zoom in a bit so you'll get a better look of the door. Let's pan over to the center. Now, if you notice, if I move my mouse to the right side, it will draw the door like that. If I move to the left, it will draw the door like that. Now, I want the sliding side to go on the left side. So I can easily do that by pressing on the spacebar on my keyboard to flip the side, okay? And then move my mouse to the right, and that will now position it correctly. So let me click to finally place that door there. So I'll pan up a bit, and then I'll also place here. So again, I'll press the spacebar to flip the door, and then this time I'll click anywhere first on the wall to finally place that. Okay, so same goes on the lower part here. So this is already in a correct orientation, so I'll just click there, and then I'll just press the spacebar once this time to finally change the side of this sliding door. Then finally click on the wall to place that. Okay, another way of getting out of a command is to click on this modify command here on the ribbon menu. So once you do that, it stops or gets out of the command. So let's go back to our guide. So the distance of this door here with respect to the center of this wall here is 625, and for this door here is 1219. Okay, so going back to Revit, let us move these doors to its proper place. So first let's span it a bit here, then let's select this door. Okay, so once it's selected, it shows us that from the edge of this door to the center is 600 millimeters, so we need 25 more. So you just click to select that temporary dimension and type 625, then hit enter to finally position that door. Then for this door here, we just need to move this to stick on this side here. So to do that, we select this door, execute the move command like before, and then make sure that we have the base point on this part here, and then we move it down like that. Okay, same goes on this part here. Let's hit escape on our keyboard. Let's make sure that the distance of this door with respect to the center of this wall is 1219, as we've seen on our guide. It's stated there 800, so let's click on that 800 and type 1219 and press enter, and that should position that door correctly. Now for this door here, it should also be 1219. Let's double check. Okay, so it says there 1219. Okay, so to do that, if you look at the temporary dimension, it says there 7335, but it points to the, let's zoom out a bit, to the wall on this side here. Now, we want that the basis of this wall spacing should be with respect to this center of the column. Now, we can easily transfer this dimension line to point to the center of the column by clicking and dragging on this grip here, and then so again click and drag and then move it to snap onto that center of the column. So you can see now that it says 1297.5, so let's just click there and type 1219, then hit enter, and that should position correctly that sliding doors. So we have now successfully positioned correctly our sliding doors. So next, let's draw the different flush doors. So again, the shortcut for the door command is DR, so we type DR on our keyboard to execute that. Let's select on the type properties first the 600 here by 2100. Then let's place first, just like the sliding doors, along the walls. So again, I'll not be strict again with the dimension of the walls here because I want to show you how easily it is to move them once they are already placed. So let's just rough them in. Okay, so let's place there. Then again here we need 800, so let's go back to the type properties, select 800 by 2100. Let's place it like that and also like that, and then let's hit escape a couple of times to get out of the door command. So going back to this door on the powder room, when you select that, the distance of this hinge here with respect to the center of the wall should be only 200 millimeters. So let's click on that 300 and type 200, then press enter, and that should position that. Okay, the orientation of the door is correct. Now on this bathroom here, the orientation is not correct, so incorrect. So we select that. Now the good thing about it, we don't need to redraw this wall because right on the door there are what we call flip controls. So we have the vertical flip control and the horizontal flip control. If you look at our sample here, it should be positioned like this. Same goes with this door here and this door here. So going back to Revit, let's just click on this horizontal flip and it will flip it instantly like that. So the beauty of Revit, right? So again, let's double check. So again, this is already correct, 200 millimeter space. And then this door here we select. So the orientation is incorrect, so let's click on the vertical flip, and then for the distance, to double check if it's really 200, again just like the sliding door, we can click on this grip here and then move it over to the center of this wall, and you can see that it says 175 when I zoomed in, so we can just click to select that and type 200, then press enter. Okay, and that should space out there. Now for this door here, let's zoom in a bit here, let's select that, let's horizontal flip it to put it into place, and the distance should only be 350. So let's click on this 500 and type 350. Okay, then let's click on the white space to unselect or deselect the door there. Then we need to draw the pocket door and the opening. So let's draw the pocket door first. So let's zoom in a bit. Let's execute the door command this time. And on the type properties, let's select this time. Okay, so it's not here on the selection, so we can actually load that in. So let's hit on the load family here. Then let's wait for it to open. And then on this selection on the folders that we can see on the pop-up window of load family, since the door is a family, let's go to this doors here, and then let's select the pocket door. So let's look for that. So I think it belongs to the residential here. Then we double click to go to that residential folder, and then here we go, double pocket. Okay, so let me double check. Okay, so to finally load this onto the drawing, let's click on open, and then let's select the, let's see, we need a small one, so 1500 by 2100. Okay, let's use this one, so click OK, and then once it loads, we can easily place that here. Alright, so you click to finally place that there. Okay, so that's the pocket door that we need. Now next we need to draw the wall opening here. So again, the wall opening, since it's just going to be a pass-through, is not a door. So up here on the architecture ribbon menu, we go to the opening panel, and then we have this wall. So we click to execute that. Then we select this wall here because this is where we want to draw the opening. So once you select that, if we check on the status bar, it says there to enter starting point of rectangular opening. So actually, you can just click anywhere on any point of this wall. You click like that, and then move your mouse down, and you will see that the wall opening starts to be drawn. So again, I'm going to rough it in, so I'll just click anywhere to end it, and then you will see now that the wall has an opening. Okay, so the size, let us first escape a couple of times to get out, and then the size of this opening should be about 800 millimeters. So I'll just click on this opening that we drew, and then first let us click on this temporary dimension there, and then type 800 to finally adjust that. And the distance from this edge here to the center of the wall should be 1650. So let me type 1650 to place that correctly. Okay, so we have now finished all the doors needed for this drawing. Okay, next let's draw the windows. So basically we have already we're halfway through to our drawing, right? So that's how fast you can draw in Revit. So the window command is still on the build panel on the architecture tab, and right beside the door we have there the window, and the shortcut is WN. So we just click to execute that, and the first window we'll draw, let's go to our guide, are this one. So this big one's here, this one here, and then this one here, and then these two ones here. So let's go back to Revit. Let's click on this command here, and then let's choose this 1500 by 2100. So let's click that, and then let's put it here. So we click there. Now the good thing about it, since we want to center this instantly, this window, before we click to place it on these two walls here, if I pan a bit down, notice that Revit snaps on instantly to the center. So if you can see, there's 750 on the left and there's 750 on the right. If I move my mouse to the right side, it will readjust, but if I just move it a bit, it will instantly find that center. So you just click to finally place it. So there you go. Then first, let's pan over to the bottom. Let's place first one here, and then let's position another one here, and then another one here. So again, like before, let's just rough them in. So let's hit escape a couple of times to get out of the window command. Now we are sure that this has been centered, and for this window here, we want it just like the door to be 200 millimeters away from the window. Okay, so let's double check. Let's zoom in first by scrolling our mouse up. Let's select this window here, and there you go, you'll see 300. So just click there and then type 200, then press enter. Same goes with this one. You select that, and it should be 200. So you click on that temporary dimension, type 200, and then press enter. Now let's go back to our guide. So for this windows here, I only drew one because I just need to position it at 769 with respect to the center of this column, and then I'll just copy this two windows here to place. Okay, so let's go back to Revit. Let's first select this. Let's pan it to center. Let's select this window, and then like before, let's reposition the dimension or temporary dimension to respect to the center of the window, or rather the column, and then we type there 769. Okay, so let's enter to finally place that, and then finally let's copy these. Okay, so still this window is selected. All I need to do is just execute the copy command, and then this time I will select the base point to be on this part here, and then I will copy it to this one here, one, and then okay, so I forgot something. I should have chose multiple. So if I select and execute back the copy, on the options bar, you have there the multiple command. Now I just need one more, so I don't actually need that right now, but I should have clicked that if I want to copy in multiple, meaning more than one. Okay, so let me have the base point here and then finally place it there. Okay, next we need to put some windows over here. So let's go back to the type properties rather here, and then let's select this window awning. So we click on that, and then we'll now execute the window command. Okay, I think I accidentally escaped the command there, so I had to execute the window command and then choose the 450 window awning there, and then just like before, if I scroll it pan down a bit and then place my mouse on the wall, notice that it will automatically place it on the center of these two walls here, right? Okay, like that. So 452.3 on both sides, and then also here. Okay, so basically you now understand how to place these doors and windows, but we're not done yet. If we go to the elevation view, so to go to an elevation view, just go to this project browser. Again, the project browser holds the different views that are available for us to see here in Revit. So we have the floor plans, we have ceiling plans, then right below that we have elevations. So we want to check this side here, and this is what we call the south elevation or the south side. So if you double click on this south elevation here, it should open to the south view tab. Okay, now notice that we need to draw the windows here. Okay, so what's this? I think I accidentally placed a window here, so we can easily delete that, right? So just to show you on the finished product, going back to that file that we opened previously, so these are the windows that I'm referring to. Okay, so let's go back to level 1. Now that or these windows that we're going to draw is not on level 1 but actually on level 2. So let us open the level 2 floor plan. So back on the project browser, let us double click on this level 2 here, and that should open this up. Okay, so notice that we have the walls there, and at the same time I can see now the ground floor drawings that we've done. Okay, that is because if you go to the properties here, you will see, if I scroll down a bit, this underlay that says range base level, and that says level 1. If for example I click here on the pull down menu and choose none, and then I'll click on apply, I won't be able to see the ground floor or the level 1 as an underlay on this second level. Okay, so since I would like to easily place the windows for the level 2, I can now take advantage of that underlay there. So let's bring that back. So let's go back here, choose level 1. Now another way of applying the underlay level 1 is no need to click on apply, just bring your mouse outward to the workspace and that should apply, and you can now again see the floor plan, or rather ground floor plan, as a grayed out element here. Okay, so we'll be drawing the windows there. So again, that window I accidentally clicked when I placed the bathroom window, so I'll erase that there later. So let's now draw the window. So again, let's go to the window command. This time let's choose this 900 by 800. Okay, so first I'll draw anywhere along this wall, click to place that, and then I'll click on the modify to end the command, and then I want to snap the point of this window to the point where this guide of the sliding door below is located. So to do that, we select this window here, and then we execute the move command. We now snap onto this point here, and then we can easily snap there like that. Okay, then we just need to copy now from there on. Okay, so we still, this window is selected, we execute the copy command, and then this time again, since we need multiple copies, I'll make sure that the multiple is selected here on the options bar. So again, the base point will be this one here, and then I can now copy like that, 1, then 2, and then 3. And that should complete on that side, and then I'll zoom out a bit since we need to copy again on this part. So this time I can easily snap onto this point here and then copy this 4 more times. Okay, then let me pan that, and then 1. I think we need 1 more here. Okay, so I'll delete this window on the level 1. So we have completed all the windows needed on level 2. So let's go back to level 1 here. Okay, so I can do a window selection like that, so it is the only element that will be placed, and let me hit on delete to finally close that. So if we go to the south elevation again by clicking on this south tab here, okay, so we'll be drawing this. Oh, I think I accidentally changed the type of window, so we can actually copy this back there. So going back to level 1, let us select this window, then execute the copy, and then we copy like that. So experiencing that here right now, you can easily understand how it is easy to edit your drawing if you make mistakes, right? So that's how fast you can do that here in Revit. Okay, so let's check our guide. Okay, so I think we have completed. So we need some more windows there, but let's skip that. Let's go and draw our components. So let's draw some water closets on these rooms here, as well as some vanity, some bathtub, and then the kitchen. Okay, so let's go back to Revit. Let's zoom in a bit. Now to draw those components here in Revit, you just go to the build panel on the architecture tab, and then we have the components here. So we click to execute that, and then just like before on the type properties, let's look for that water closet. So it's here. Okay, so we click on this water closet there, and then if you notice, the orientation is like that. To easily rotate it to be oriented correctly against the wall above, you just press the space bar, so it will rotate like that. Okay, so once it's on the correct orientation, that's the time you can now snap into place to finally place it. Then there's another kind of water closet there, so you just click on the type properties, then let's scroll up it, and then choose this 480 mm, and that can be now placed there. Okay, next we need the vanity here. So again, going back to the type properties, let's look for that vanity table here, this one, and then first let's place it there since I cannot snap it directly like that. So first let's place it anywhere. After placing, hit the escape on your keyboard, select it, execute the move command, and then this time snap here. Now notice when I snap and then I want to place it on this corner here, I cannot. That's because on the options bar I have the constraint checked. I have to remove that, so just click on that, and now I can freely place my mouse, or rather the vanity, wherever I want to. So this time I just wanted to snap it like that on the corner. Okay, let's hit on the modify command to end the command there. Let's zoom out a bit, and let's put the bathtub. So let's hit on the component command again here on the ribbon menu, and then choose here the, let's see, let's look for that bathtub. Okay, I think I lost it here, so let's just skip that for now, and then let's move on to our kitchen. Okay, so I just needed to load that family, but nevertheless, let's skip. What's important is you understand how to use these components here. So going to the component command again, let's put on some base units. Okay, so let's click on the type properties here, and then look for the corner. Let's see. Okay, this one. So the 900 cabinet corner unit. So you click that, and then the good thing about this, you can easily snap it into place like that. So you click to place that, and then let's select that, the one for the sink. So let's see, this one here, and then we just snap it into place like that. And then next, let's select the 600, this one, the base cabinet double door. Let's put one here, and then we need to put one here. So again, just press the space bar to orient it as we would like to, like that, and then we snap it into place. Then finally, we'll place the 300 here. Okay, so this one we'll place there. Okay, let's hit on the modify to find the command. So we have all the base units in place. Of course, we need some countertop. So again, that belongs on the component command. So you just select that under type properties. So this one here, the M countertop L shape with sinkhole, 600 depth. So if you notice, the orientation of this countertop is incorrect. If I press the spacebar, it just rotates it around. Okay, so I need to flip it. So don't worry, just first place it anywhere on the screen. So you click, then hit the escape, select it back. Then just like the door, it has a flip control. So we need to flip it horizontally like that. And that's the time we can now move it to place. So we hit on the move command. We snap onto the corner here for the base point. Make sure the constraint is not checked. And then we snap it there on the corner to place it. Then finally, we can just easily adjust it by moving on these grips here, or rather clicking and dragging. So with your left mouse button, just click and drag on those grips, and then you can easily adjust the size of this countertop. Okay, so next, after this, we need to draw the ceiling. Okay, so we'll put some ceilings on these different rooms here. Now to draw a ceiling, we need to go to the ceiling level 1. Okay, right now we are on the floor plan level 1. So the ceiling is right below. Okay, so you can either double click here, right? So double click, and that should open the level 1 ceiling. Let's zoom in. So there you will see. So again, let's draw the ceilings of these different rooms. So the ceiling command still belongs on the build panel under the architecture ribbon menu, and that is beside the roof. So you just click on the ceiling. So for the type property, we'll just use this compound ceiling plane, and we'll just use the automatic ceiling. So for the automatic, you just click anywhere on this space, or rather place your mouse over to a space, and it will automatically detect the edges of that room to place your ceiling. So once you click there, that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, right now, if I hit escape, you will notice that it's as if nothing happened. Okay, so to double check if our ceilings were placed correctly, let us draw a section view. Okay, let's zoom out a bit by scrolling our mouse downward. And then for the section view, you just go to the quick access toolbar, and we have this one here called section. So you click that, and then click to start off for the head here on the left side, and then move your mouse to the right to place it like that. Okay, so once it's placed, you will now see the section view guideline there. So it points going upward there, and this hidden line here in blue tells us the area which includes on the view of the section. So to go to the section view, you can either hover your mouse over to the head of the section, then right click, and then choose go to view, or you can easily go back to the project browser, and you have right under elevations the sections. Okay, so right now I'll just do this right clicking option. So click on go to view, and that should open the section view there. And if I zoom in here, there you go, these are the ceilings. If I hover over the ceilings and it highlights in blue, that means that those are the ceilings. And also the tooltip there says ceilings compound ceiling plane, which we created, right? So those are the ceilings that we made. Okay, so let's go back to the ground floor. So after the ceiling and the section, let us now draw our roof. So we need to draw our roof on the third level. Okay, so to go to the third level, we can double click here under floor plans on the project browser to open the third level. And there we have the third level. So again, you will notice that the walls and the columns are grayed out because, as I've shown you before here on the properties, if you scroll down here, it automatically has an underlay of the level 2. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. So the ceiling is beside the floor command. Okay, so later on after the, sorry, not ceiling, rather the roof. Okay, I forgot to draw the floor, so I'll draw the floor later after the roof since we're already here. So the roof command is this command here beside the column. So we execute, again there's no shortcut for it, so you just click and then it will execute the roof command. So again, we need to have a basic roof having a thickness of only 125 millimeters. So this is already good. So if you will draw here in Revit regarding roofs, it will take you to a sketch mode. So when you say sketch mode, it's as if you're gonna do a drafting. So on the draw panel, on the modify creating roof footprint, you will have different shapes that you can draw. So for the roof, I'll just use this rectangle command. Okay, so let me click to choose that. And then afterwards, since normally roofs have eaves, right? So the standard is about 600 millimeters. So to instantly draw the eaves, or rather the extension of 600 millimeters of the roof, we'll now add an offset to that. Okay, so on the options bar, we have the offset. Okay, so let me type there 600, and that should offset instantly by 600. So if I click on the corner of this column, notice that it offsets automatically the guideline of the sketch by 600. And let me just snap in on the corner of this wall. So just to show you what I mean about the 600, if I click on this command here called measure between two references, if I click to execute that, and then click on the edge of this column until that point of the sketch, see, it says there 600. So we are assured that it offsetted at 600. Okay, now if I will immediately end this roof command, okay, I want to show you something. So this is what will happen. So notice that it has a hole, that's about the view range. If we go to the 3D view of what we've drawn so far, it's already opened here. So to open a 3D view, you can just click on this birdhouse icon that's called default 3D view on the quick access. Okay, but since I already have it opened here, you just click on to open that. Now the roof that we made is this one. Okay, so again, let me zoom in and then orbit a bit so you can see. So it has 4 corners that are, or rather the 4 sides have sloped. If I click on the white space here to deselect the roof, you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. So on our example, we need a shed roof. Okay, so this one, okay, it's just a slanting roof like that. So going back in our 3D view, let's select back our roof and then let's edit it. Okay, so we click on edit footprint here on the modify tab. Okay, or rather let me go back to the level 3, so this one here, and then I will have to remove the slopes of this 3 sides here and retain only the one here since it's going to be sloping upward like that. Okay, so to remove the slopes, just select this line here, and then on the options bar, just click to remove the define slope selection there, or option there, and then select this one again, and then untick this define slopes as well as this line over here. Okay, now this sketch here, or rather sketch line here, the sloping angle should only be 8 degrees. So click on that text box of the 30 degrees and type 8 and then press enter, so that Revit will just slope it by 8 degrees. Okay, and then this time we can check, or by clicking on the finish edit mode. And before we go and check it on the 3D, let me just double check the constraints. Okay, so going to the properties palette, the base constraint should be on level 2. Okay, since that is where the lower part of the shed roof starts. So to do that, just click here and then choose level 2. Okay, and then if we go now to 3D, let's double check, and there we have it. Our shed roof has been created. Okay, so you can see that since the base level, like I've showed you, of the roof is on level 2, that is where the point where it starts. Okay, so it's aligning itself on this level 2 here, this one. Okay, so don't worry about the walls. Okay, we'll fix that in a bit. So before fixing the walls, I told you that I forgot to draw the floor. Okay, so we need to draw the floor. So let's go back to level 1 and then draw the floor. So no problem with the sequence of whatever you want to draw here in Revit. You can draw the roof first, then you draw the floor, or you can draw the floor, then the, let's say, you add the components later. So the sequence doesn't matter. Okay, so that's how flexible how to draw here in Revit. So for the floor, the one beside the ceiling here, this one, so let's click on to execute that. Just like the other commands, there's no shortcut. So the type property for the floor that we need is generic 150. That's already what we want. So just like the roof, we'll use a sketch mode of the rectangle. Okay, now for example, if you want the finish of the floor to be different from the one of the inside of the house, okay, so let's say here on the outside you want a let's say ceramic tiles, and on the inside you want the full wood flooring. So you have to draw two different floors. Okay, so first I'll draw the floor here on the outside part of the building. So I'll just click on the edge of this, or rather the corner of that column, until the edge of this wall here. Okay, and then I'll just end the command like that, and you will see that I have the floor there. So to draw another floor, instead of going back to, I'll show you something else in executing a command. Instead of going back to the architecture, there's what we call the create similar. Okay, the shortcut is CS. So if you execute the create similar command, you have to select first a family. So in this case, the floor. Now, I know that the floor is still selected since this one here is still in blue or shaded in blue. I can just execute the create similar command immediately by typing CS, or you can also right click. Okay, and this is the command I'm referring to, the create similar. Okay, so I click on the screen to get out of that context menu of the right click. So I'll type CS on my keyboard, and instantly it now executes the floor command. So I know that I'm on the floor command because on the type properties it says there floor. So I'll go back to select this rectangle and then click here on the corner until this corner here to draw the other floor to represent for the one inside the house, and then I'll click to finally check that. So if we go back to the 3D view, we have now the floors here and we have the roof there. Okay, so this time we need to adjust the walls to be cut on the roof. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is we just need to attach the walls on the roof. Okay, so to do that, first let's say I'll select all this exterior wall here. Okay, so I'll just hover my mouse over one of the walls, then press tab on my keyboard to chain select. Okay, I haven't clicked anything on my mouse yet. I just hovered my mouse over one of the walls and press on tab on the keyboard to chain select my outer walls. Now this time, to really select them, or to finally select them, just click, and you will see that all of them are now shaded in blue, meaning that they are all selected. So to clean this out here, all I need to do is on the ribbon menu of the modify, on the modify wall panel, you just click on attach top base. So you just click here, and then after you click that, you select the roof. Okay, so once you click that, notice that it cleans out immediately like that. So let me double check, let me orbit. See, it now cleans on the roof like that. So how about the ones on the interior walls? Okay, so that's easy. So let's first hit on escape to get out of the command. I'll do a window selection starting from this point on the empty space here, and then I will select everything that I see there, including the walls. So notice that if I release my mouse, not only are the walls selected, but only all the others. Now, I intentionally did that because I want to show you an easy way of selecting here in Revit. So that is what we call the filter command, and that is located here up above. Okay, so this one. If you click on the filter command, there's a filter dialog box that appears. You will see now all the different components or elements that have been selected by that window selection that I made. So since I already need the wall, all I need to do is just click on check none here first and then select the walls. Once I click on OK, all the walls are just selected and all the others have been deselected. Okay, so I can now easily just click on attach top base and then select on the roof to finally clean those walls out. Okay, I should have also included the columns, right? So don't worry. Let us do a window selection like that again. Go to filter and then check none and then click on columns and then click on OK. Just like the walls, there's an attach top base command here, so I'll click on that and I'll choose the roof, and that should clean that out like that. Okay, so let's hit on escape to deselect the columns. Let's double check by orbiting around. Okay, so let's say if I click on this view cube left view here, okay, it should position my view like that. And then on my navigation bar, let me click on zoom to fit and then zoom in further with my mouse. Notice that the column hasn't cleaned out, okay, like that. Okay, if we go to our finished drawing like I showed you the first time around, if I go on the left of this one here by clicking on that view cube and then zoom out, notice that it cleans out properly on the roof, right? If we go to our model, it doesn't. Okay, so how do we fix that? So that's quite easy. Just again select like this to select all the columns as well as all the other components. Click on filter and then check none and then select back the columns and then click on OK. Now the columns are selected. To fix that part there, we just go to our properties palette and then scroll down here to construction. Let me expand this properties palette so you can read easier. So it says there attachment justification at top. Okay, now click to select that and then choose maximum intersection. Once I move my mouse outward on the workspace, it now cleans neatly. See, so all those columns have cleaned out properly on our roof. Okay, so let's orbit this again. Alright, so that's basically the drawing, and we have almost copied the original one, right? So look how fast we can draw in Revit. Okay, so just over an hour that we have been doing this and we're already done. Okay, so next, let's go back to our guide. So after drawing all the components, let's say you want to print out a floor plan. Okay, of course, on a floor plan, you will need to put in dimensions like this one's here. You need to put in some labels like this one's here. So, okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's go back to Revit and then go to level 1 or the ground floor. Let's zoom out a bit and then put in some dimensions. Okay, so to execute the dimension command, it's located on the quick access toolbar. And right here, this one, it says align dimension and it has a shortcut that's DI. Okay, so let me just click on to execute that. And then once that's executed, what we'll try to follow first are these dimensions on the inner part. So this one's here. Okay, so all the walls first, like that. Okay, so I'll zoom in a bit. I'll snap on to the center of this column. I'll click there and then it will instantly look for the center of that wall there. So I'll click there and then on that wall here, this wall here, this wall here, this one, and finally that one. Okay, and then I'll move. After clicking and selecting all those center of the walls, you just move your mouse upward. Okay, haven't clicked anything yet, just move your mouse so that it will follow and then click on the screen to finally place the position of your dimensions. Okay, so let's compare it. Okay, so if you notice the dimensions here, it's the same. Okay, so we need to do the next two above. So let me pan it down here. So I'm still on the dimension command. Let's finish first all the ones above here. So I'll click on the center of this. So be careful when you click on the columns, make sure that you are selecting the correct guide, okay, not the horizontal ones, because if you select this, it means you are wanting to dimension downward. Okay, so we want to go on the sideways. Okay, so we click on the center of this and the center of this, and then this outer part here. And then now the good thing about the second one, it will snap automatically to have a nice spacing of the dimensions. Okay, then finally center here to the last one here, and then snap in to place here. Okay, next let's draw on this part here. So we snap onto this part here, then onto this part here, then to the center, to this part here, and then to the center here, and then let's put it there like that. Okay, then snap onto this wall here, to the center here, and then to the center like that, and then finally the outer ones. Okay, now don't worry about the tail of that section. Let's hit escape. We can actually adjust this, so you just select your section view, and then it has a grip on the tail. You click and drag to move it outward. Okay, again, click and drag means clicking on your left mouse button without releasing it, and then you drag your grip outward. Okay, then click anywhere on the space to deselect or unselect there. Okay, then finally let's put on some dimensions on the lower part. So again, I'll type DI on my keyboard to execute the dimension command, and I'll select on this part here. I'll zoom in this part here and on the edge. Okay, I'm trying to replicate the dimensioning of what we made on our guide. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what I miss. Okay, so this 2006-25. So let's do that. So from the center of this wall here to the edge here, 625. Finally, okay, let's double check first if this is already correct. So let me hit escape to get out of the dimension command. I haven't double checked this in the first place. So again, if we are in Revit, it's very easy to edit things around. So select that. Oops, so there you go. It's not yet 2000, so we just type there 2000, so that before we dimension this wall here, it is already correct. So the other location of that dimension command is up here on the modify tab or modify menu. We have this command here, so you click on that and we select this wall here to this wall here, and then we snap it into place. So you notice also if I move it, it automatically looks for that existing dimension below. Okay, it snaps into place before, and then you click. Okay, so let's hit on the modify to end the command. Then we need to label this. So let's say we want to label this same as our guide, so living area and walk-in closet. So to label that, we can use the text command. So the text command is located on the annotate ribbon menu, so you click there, and then here on the text panel we have the text command. So the shortcut is TX, so we click to execute that, and then let's click it here on the empty space, and then we type there with a caps lock on, living, you press enter to go to the next line, and then area. Okay, then you click outside to end that command. Okay, then we can copy this, so we hit on the copy command, select this one, then to finally select it is you press the space bar. Okay, so once that hidden line appears, it means it has already been locked in the selection. Then you click anywhere on the screen. Let's say this part here, then I'll put it estimatedly on the center of this space here. Then let me hit escape to get out of the command, and then I will double click to edit the text here, and then I'll click and highlight. So you click and drag using your left mouse button to highlight that, and then let's call that walk in, then press enter for the next line, close it. Okay, then click outside. So notice that this should be center justified. Okay, if you look at our sample, say these two here are center justified. So we just select this text here so that it will be justified together. So to also select this, you can just hold on the control on your keyboard and then click to select those two. And then here on the properties palette, on the horizontal line, we select here and choose center, and on the vertical align we choose also middle. Okay, we click on apply, and that should center those on the text box. Okay, now let's say if you want to center this on this space, you can actually just click on that and you can easily move it around with your mouse. Sorry, not mouse, on the keyboard, arrow keys on the keyboard. So if I press my right arrow key on my keyboard, it will move it to the right. So a couple of taps will move that over to the right. So I'll hit on the space there to deselect the text. Okay, so basically we have replicated our guide. Okay, so let's say we want to place this on a sheet ready for printing. Okay, so to do that, we need to load in a sheet. Okay, so back here on our project browser, you scroll down and then look for sheets. Okay, so this one here. So you can click to highlight that. Then you right click on it and then choose new sheet. So you click on new sheet and the new sheet dialog box appears. So we have a ready sample here called A4 metric. This is actually provided by Revit itself under Autodesk. So you just click OK, so that it will load the sheet onto the drawing, and it will open a new view tab called A102, okay, which is actually a sheet. If we go back to our project browser here and expand these sheets by clicking on this plus sign here, you will see that the one highlighted A102 is the same as the one labeled here. Okay, so before we place the drawing that we made here, the floor plan, I want to show you that it is easy to change the labels that are pre-assigned on our sheet. So let me zoom in here, then pan it a bit on the center. So let's say this part here is the name of our view, or rather the plan, so ground floor plan. So let's say I want to change this to ground floor plan. You just click here, click it again, and if once it highlights like that and shows you the text box, you can now type there ground floor plan. If you click outside, okay, it now changed to that name. Okay, so you can change the owner, you can change the issue date, you can also change. So let's say the sheet number, let's say this is gonna be, since it's a floor plan, it's not gonna belong normally on an A1 sheet, it's gonna belong on an A2. So let's say I want to change this to just A2. Okay, so you click on it and then you just type A2, and once you click outside, that changes to A2. So notice that once it changes here, it also changes the labeling on the view tab as well as on the project browser. Okay, so that's how easy it is. Now if you notice, the orientation of our floor plan on our ground level is on a landscape mode. Our sheet is on a portrait mode. So if we place that there, we wanted it on a landscape mode. So you can actually do that by rotating first our sheet. So this time I'll show you how to use the rotate command. Okay, so first you select your sheet, and then the rotate command is right beside the copy command, this one. So shortcut is RO, so you just click there, and once you execute that, it automatically places a base point right on the dead center of that sheet, or on that object in this case. So first we need to snap on to the 0 or X axis, because we want this to be a starting point, since we want to rotate it going over counterclockwise like that. Okay, so we snap on here, so Revit instantly finds the snap point. So also here it can snap on by 90 degrees on the vertical axis. So I'll just snap on the horizontal, click anywhere, and this time I can now rotate counterclockwise going to the left, and then snap it on 90 degrees, and that should rotate our sheet. So now we can readily place our sheet, or rather our floor plan here. Okay, so how do we now place that on our sheet? So all we need to do is go to our project browser. Let's scroll up here. Let's look for our level 1 or ground floor plan under the floor plans of the project browser. Then just click, do not release the mouse, and drag it outside the project browser, and notice that the mouse has a different looking icon which has a move with a plus, telling us that we have grabbed the ground floor plan from the project browser. And all we need to do is just release now our mouse, and there it is. We can see that a preview of the view of the ground floor or the level 1 of the floor plan is already here. So once I click it on the space, it will now be placed. So notice that it also shows us these 4 nodes of our elevations, as well as the label of this ground floor. Now I already placed a text here called ground floor plan, so I don't need to, or I don't want to label this here, this label here to be included. So I can easily remove that. Now since I have this view pre-selected, I can just go here to the type property, click on that, and then let's see, we have type without line. Okay, there's no without line, so I think it was removed, so we can hit on edit type. Okay, let's see, so the title, let's put on none. No, not that one, sorry. So show title, we can choose no. Okay, and then click on apply, and then click on OK, and that should remove that title down there. Okay, next we need to crop this view that we have placed so that this will not be included on our drawing. So to do that, we can enter this view here. Since we are already on the ground A2 sheet view, we can just double click on this view here to enter it. So once we double click, we have now entered it, and on the properties palette you scroll down and choose under the extents this crop view, click to check that, and the crop region visible. So once I move my mouse outward, it will now show me the same lines which I saw earlier when we were outside this view. So you just click on to select the region line of this view, and then on the grips provided, you just click and then drag it inward. Okay, make sure not to crop the floor plan that we made. So also here on the south side, on the east side, and on the north side. So I'm just cropping it. Okay, now once I'm happy with the crop that I made, I can just right click back here and then choose deactivate view, and that will bring me back to the active view of the sheet. So if I will now zoom in, okay, I forgot to remove the view, so let me go back. So again, to go back, you just double click and then go back to our properties palette. Make sure that the crop view is still selected, and this time remove the crop region visible. Okay, right click and then deactivate view. So this time once I select, I can now use my mouse, I can now use my keyboard arrow keys to tap to move them and center it to place. Okay, so if you ask me what could be the scale of this view, it says on the sheet, if I scroll here, it says 1:100. How do I verify that it is really 1:100? Actually, this default sheet is having a label of the scale tied up to the view. Okay, but to really make sure that we are on a 1:100 view, just double click back on the view here, and then you will see that this view label on the view control bar says 1:100. Okay, telling us that if you also scroll up here, it says that the view scale is 1:100. Okay, so you are assured that that is 1:100. So let's deactivate back this view. Okay, so I believe we have completed now our drawing. So I've showed you a 3D view of the house that we do. We were able to orbit around. We were able to draw the components, draw some windows, some doors, the walls, the columns, the floors. So basic modeling in Revit is actually very easy, right? Okay, So we also were able to do some simulation of the sheet. So we have the sheet there. We learned how to change some labels of the sheet. We learned how to drag the views to represent as if they were the part of the sheet. Okay, and this is actually what you can now just print out, okay, for your client or for yourself for markups. Okay, so I think we are done with our modeling. Okay, so there you go. That is how quick we can easily model or draw in Revit architecture. We get to generate plans ready for printing easily and edit the elements and components in a breeze. Thank you so much for being with me and watching this free live demo. Again, this free live demo is brought to you by Techniques Training Hub, the leading technical school to offer CAD, BIM, and 3D rendering here in Mindanao. I would like to promote my upcoming online class on Revit architecture via Zoom. We will be posting its details later this week on our Facebook page and website. Our lessons cover an in-depth knowledge where you will develop your skills in using the software, and of course, a more detailed explanation will be given during the command execution. Okay, so you will learn how to understand, and also the parts of the commands you will better learn how to use them. Okay, so a whole lot more, of course, will be given. Okay, we'll be also opening an online class in AutoCAD soon. So for those of you who would like to start with the basics, then this AutoCAD class is for you. And to those of you who are interested to learn and master Autodesk Revit, kindly enroll in my online class, and you'll get, inclusive of this, is the institutional certificate, as you can see, plus handouts and exercise files. Of course, don't forget to visit our Techniques Training Hub Facebook page and our official website. Links are provided, as you can see on our screens. Okay? Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon, and like our Facebook business page to get updates. Okay, this is Engineer Kevin Samson. Thank you once again, and God bless.